Well, tonight, clock takes in what could be a make-or-break moment for embattled former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta as he heads to U.S. court in a last-ditch effort to block his deportation.
Kenny, Nanaya Ofori-Atta is not scared of prosecution. He has never been, he is not, and will never be scared of prosecution. You think when Trump after this and say that he needs proof? Hell no. But I'm saying that the right of all Ghanaians should be respected. You can't call someone a thief.
We have the latest score stormed the U.S. Embassy here in Accra to pile pressure on the U.S. government to bring back Ken Ofori-Atta to face justice.
We are insisting that Ken has been responsible for the economic abortion that this nation has gone through. The premature birth that this nation suffered are all the consequences of the policies of Ken Ofori-Atta, including the deliberate stealing of state resources for his personal use.
We'll bring you details here on Top Story. Top Story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy Holy Sleep, and also by Shield Pension Trust into the future with you. And today, we take you to the U.S. court to see what will be happening there. But tonight, the clock is ticking in what could be a make-or-break moment for embattled former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta as he heads to a U.S. court in a last-ditch effort to stop his deportation from America. Just 2 weeks ago, he was arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement over an expired visa. Now, this deportation case is separate from ongoing effort by Ghana's Attorney General and the Office of the Special Prosecutor to extradite him over alleged corruption-related cases. Ken Ofori-Atta has remained in the United States since early 2025, citing serious health concerns. In a court today, he is expected to plead his case in a bid to avoid deportation to Ghana to face these, alleged cases of corruption against him. We understand his lawyers are prepared to fight this to the very end. Meanwhile, civil society groups in Ghana have been picketing the U.S. Embassy in Accra, piling pressure on authorities to facilitate his removal from the U.S. to Ghana to face trial. My colleague with our research desk, Caleb Ziblim, joins me in studio with some more details about what we've been finding out. Now, Caleb, what are we learning about Ofori-Atta's hearing, which we expect to be today?
Yes, Grace. So we know that the former Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, would be having his day in court at the Annandale, Virginia courts. So Annandale Immigration Courts in Virginia. And that's around the Washington area, the Washington, D.C. area. So we expect that the Finance Minister would be at the Annandale Immigration Courts in Virginia. We also know that in most of these processes, you are usually entitled, or you can opt to receive consular services. But then we have confirmation from the embassy in Washington that Mr. Ofori-Atta has indeed denied this service. However, speaking with the ambassador for Ghana's ambassador to the U.S., Ambassador Smith, yes, he has confirmed to us that even though Mr. Ofori-Atta has turned down this service, they will still go ahead to send a consular officer to the court. So even though Mr. Ofori-Atta has denied this consular service, Ghana's embassy is still sending one to the court proceedings today, even though they were not requested.
Now, we know he is, rejecting the consular support because he has a great team of lawyers put together. Tell us more about them.
Yes, so we know that he's represented by, and if I can use the Attorney General's word, top-notch lawyers. And we know one of them to be Inayat Kasimi, and he works with a law firm in Washington, D.C., known as Weisford. So this law firm is one of the law firms representing Mr. Ofori-Atta in Washington. And we tried to look up the profile of
Inayat Kasimi.
And we know he's a partner at Weisford Law in Washington. He's an alternative dispute resolution expert. He's a former Afghan aviation minister and also a former legal advisor to the Afghan president. So he was also a senior official in the Afghan government before he came to the US, and then he's been practicing law in the US, and he's one of Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers. The other is John David Ashcroft, and this was revealed to us by the AG when he came on Newsfile. And then this John David Ashcroft, he's a former United States Attorney General from 2001 to 2005. He's also a former governor of Missouri. He's a Republican, and he's a political lobbyist as well. And in 2016, he publicly endorsed Trump. He was one of the first people to publicly endorse Trump in 2016.
So you more of to say he's a Trump ally?
He's a Trump ally, yes. So we know these two lawyers, Inayat Kasimi, former senior Afghan official, a minister and an advisor to the president, currently working at Whiteford in the Washington, D.C. area, and then a former U.S. Attorney General, John David Ashcroft.
Now, we're also learning a bit more about what may happen when the case is called today.
Yes, so if you go to the website of the immigration court that's handling Mr. Ofori-Atta's case, and we had indications from the ambassador that this case is going to be virtual. So we checked the websites of the court case of the Annandale immigration courts, and if you go to the website, you can see that the procedure for online is almost the same as the procedure for virtual. But the only difference is that you can be anywhere and join the immigration hearing remotely. And then if you need to submit documents or anything, you have to get it faxed, and then the court to receive the fax, go through it, and then if there's any problem, they let you rectify and all of that. It's supposed to be very swift. In fact, the research team here since morning, we've been going through some of the links, and interestingly, it's free for anyone to join. In fact, we called the courts from here, Joy News. We called the courts earlier this morning, and they confirmed to us that it's public access. Anyone can join once you have the case number. So you need to have Mr. Ofori-Atta's case number. If you have the case number, you can join the case virtually from here in Ghana. You can join the case, follow along. So we've been following some other cases in the US, hoping to catch Mr. Ofori-Atta's case. But now we have indication that the case is going to start at 6 p.m. today. So,
which is some 21 minutes away. So it is expected that by now all his documents that he will use have been faxed to the court.
Exactly.
And we also do know that anyone can follow the proceedings virtually. So we will be here, but we will also be following virtually.
Yes, but there's also a caveat. So when we reached out to the office, they confirmed to us that even though it's public access, sometimes the detainee can request to the court that it's going to be a closed hearing, and that's at the discretion of the judge.
Okay.
So if the judge decides that Mr. Ofori-Atta's case is sensitive, he can decide to make it a closed hearing, and then we're not going to be able to join the case. But then generally, these cases are public access. Anyone can join the case. Once you have the case number, you can join the link. And we've gone to the websites of the immigration courts, the Annandale immigration courts. There are 20 judges over there that will sit on cases throughout the day. And we've gone through all 20 judges, and then we are waiting for almost 6 o'clock, and then we'll join the case virtually.
But out of the 20, we don't know who will sit on Ken Ofori-Atta's case.
Yes, we don't know who yet.
All right. But if it happens, you can count on Joy News. We will, of course, let you see what is happening in that particular court. Well, thank you very much, Caleb Ziblim, there with our research desk. But we'll also hear from lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta shortly. But first, let's take you to the U.S. Embassy in Accra, where protesters have been picketing for several hours. My colleague Collins Frimpong was there earlier and now joins with some more details. Collins, okay, so we'll bring you much more details about that. But we've been hearing from the protesters on this particular matter and what their demand will be like. We'll be bringing you what the protesters have been saying. Bernard Mona has been speaking to Joy News. We'll listen to what he's been telling us, and then I'll join my colleague Collins on what he's been gathering more from them.
We are insisting that Ken has been responsible for the economic abortion that this nation has gone through. The premature birth that this nation suffered are all the consequences of the policies of Ken Ofori-Atta, including the deliberate stealing of state resources for his personal use. Ken stole our money and gave it to Enterprise Insurance, a company that he founded, and handed over to his wife. The monies that Ken gave...
Allegedly.
What is that?
All right, so that's Bernard Mona there. We'll bring you details of that soon. But Collins, what are the protesters still... okay, but let me first ask you, do we still have protesters at the embassy?
us at 3:30 p.m. today at the Accra embassy, the U.S. embassy in Accra. No one was there, and before 3 p.m., Bernard Mona and his people were already present there, and they decided to sit on the ground with their back facing the embassy. You know that no one is allowed to stand around that particular area. So that was the situation there. But after 3:30, everybody has left the area.
But I mean, earlier in that interview, I heard you speak to Bernard Mona about what they are seeking for, why they're doing that. Tell us more about what he's been telling you.
Right, so I engaged the lead convener for Arise Ghana, who is Bernard Mona, and I asked him about the reason for this particular ticketing that they are doing at the U.S. Embassy in Accra here. And according to him, it doesn't believe in what the government of Ghana and also the OSC are doing to make sure that they extradite former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to Ghana. He believes that they need to put pressure on the U.S. government to ensure that they deport him back to Ghana. And the only way they can do that is to ticket the embassy, and they are going to do that until it happens. If it is going to take 2 weeks, if it is going to take 1 month of Ken Ofori-Atta to be deported into Ghana, they are going to ticket the embassy for as long as they can. And he talked about some of the things that he believes that Ken Ofori-Atta was involved in during the Kuwado's government. He mentions the factors, the measurement that
I'll do this interview.
The deputy MD for Metromat mentioned that he was too.
Good evening.
And also he said government the national tax.
The one saying it, you are alleging. I am telling you that this is what happened. And Ken and his administration has not denied that they took over 10 million and gave it to Enterprise Insurance. So what is alleged about their admittance that that money was given? What is alleged about the fact that they themselves accept that there was no beneficiary who was listed for the insurance that they said they were going to provide frontline workers? How do you do insurance without any list of beneficiaries? So it is our money he has stolen. I don't know why you people want to hide behind some terminology. When somebody is a thief, you don't want to accept that he's a thief. In this matter, Ken stole our money. It's as simple as that. And so we are saying that they should bring all those that they have stolen so that the people of Ghana can use these resources judiciously. See, there is no auction that takes place and the money doesn't go to the consolidated fund. Metro mass buses were sold for 2,500 Ghana cedis. A whole bus. Even if you are selling the tie alone, will you sell it for 2,500? The whole buses were sold for 2,500. Those buses have been hidden, causing transport difficulties for us, all under the watch of Ken Ofori-Atta. Ken Ofori-Atta promised us that we were not going to spend any state resources in the construction of the National Pit-style National Cathedral. We, at the end, are told that over $108 million was spent on that edifice or that pit.
So that's Bernard Mona, a leading member of the Arise Ghana. Collins, did they meet any official from the embassy or did they submit any petition?
No petition. They didn't present any petition to the U.S. embassy, and no officials from the embassy came out to meet them.
Collins, if you can position yourself well so we hear you better, we'll appreciate it.
Like, what I'm saying is that no one from the U.S. embassy came out to meet the protesters, and also the protesters led by Bernard Mona also did not plan to present any petition to the embassy on that.
I'm grateful to you, Collins. There is my colleague here, Joy News. This is still a top story on Joy. Well, let's do more on this by bringing in a member of the Ken Ofori-Atta legal team based in Ghana, Frank Davis, who has joined us on the telephone lines. And I'm grateful to you, sir. We need some education here. Now, what must we expect when this case is called at 6 p.m. Ghana time today?
Well, good evening once again. In U.S. I thought a while ago, it was all over social media that the court had said and Ken Ofori-Atta was to be deported to Ghana tonight. Well, I didn't hear that.
Well, we're dealing with facts, so we know that the case is yet to be called.
It's all over. One of your sister stations asked me this afternoon whether I was aware that he was going to be deported. Look, really, it's just as if I'm getting tired to respond to all these questions. But let me tell you something. What is going to happen at 6 p.m. is called a notice to appear hearing. NTA. That's all I can tell you for now. Let us wait until 6 p.m. and we'll know what will happen. I heard you talking to your researcher. Yes, there's a public hearing and there's a closed hearing in all of these proceedings. So let us see what the judge will elect. And after that, we can speak to the issue. For now, I've told you it's an NTA hearing, a notice to appear hearing. Maybe those who are conversant with the immigration laws in America can understand what there's a little education on it. People can also research. It's an NTA hearing.
What does
immigration status?
Okay. That you said that is for the adjustment of immigration status.
For he has petitioned for an adjustment of his immigration status as to whether he will have to come back or continue to remain in the U.S. And the first step is called an NTA hearing. That's notice to appear. Because he was in lawful custody, he has to be brought before an immigration judge. So that is what is going to happen.
So this is not the ICE hauling him before court.
Ofori-Atta was picked up by the ICE. Who again picked him up?
ICE, but you see, you said that this is about him asking for an upgradement of his status. That's why I'm asking whether...
Yeah, but an adjustment of his status, that is why the Immigration and Customs Enforcement picked him up.
After he applied?
They didn't know that. Look, I don't want to go. I've told you, let us wait for the hearing at 6 p.m. I've spoken to you on your radio on these matters. I don't think we will have to go back. I'm tired of repeating myself.
Okay.
I'm saying it's an NTA hearing. It's a notice to appear. And that is because he has applied for an adjustment of his immigration status.
Okay. Now, if the court decides that he has to come to Ghana, is it something you would want to appeal, or is Mr. Ofori-Atta ready to come to Ghana?
Let the court decide. You said if the court decides. Let the court decide. The hearing is supposed to be at 6 p.m. Ghana time, as you have told all Ghanaians. All I can say is that whatever decision is handed by the court is roundly appealable. That should be of some comfort to you. Or whatever decision is handed tonight, Kenneth Nanaya Kuntukunu Ofori-Atta has a right of appeal.
Okay. Once you're part of the legal team,
Hello?
Yes, sir. But once you know the legal team, you're a member of the legal team. Do you perchance know the name of the lawyer, the judge who's going to sit on this case?
Do I know the name of the judge?
Yeah, who's going to sit on this case, just for education purposes?
Oh, but you also, where you sit, you should be telling me. I shouldn't be telling you.
We've tried. We're not getting. That's why I want you to help us.
As an experienced, trained journalist, and you have a researcher whom you've spoken to before calling me. He should be able to tell you the name of the judge. Why asking me that?
We haven't gotten it, and that's why we wanted you to help us.
Well, I also don't know.
Mr. Davis, I know you to be someone who really knows stuff, but you want to control the narrative. But for educational purposes, kindly help us. Once you remember that this is probably the one who is sitting on this case, so that when all of us are going to watch this case, we have a fair idea of who we're going to watch.
Oh, but is that not at my discretion? It is at my discretion. And I'm saying
of course,
a
it
researcher
is.
who has given a long commentary, give you the name of the court, which is in Virginia and all. He should be able to have at least queried.
He didn't get it. He didn't get it. That's why I was trying to get it.
Well, let him get it.
Okay. Frank Davis is a member of the Ken Ofori-Atta legal team. Professor Kojo Brace is Professor of International Law, University of Ghana. He joins us here. Prof, I mean, you listened to Ghanaians who picketed the U.S. Embassy. In terms of international law, will it have any impact on what the U.S. authorities will be considering, whether or not to get Ken Ofori-Atta into the country or not?
Thanks for having me, Kojo. I'm not sure it will have any impact at all on the proceedings that is taking place in faraway United States of America. But of course, the picketers are expressing their freedom of expression, which is entirely within their rights. And there's also a space within which they can do that. So based on where they are and what they have been doing, they haven't infringed the inviolability of the embassy premises. So they are within their right to do what it is. But as to the likelihood of that influencing the outcome of the hearing in the U.S., I'm not sure it will have any impact.
What about on the extradition case that Ghana has put forth?
Neither would that have an impact.
Okay. So it means that no matter how many times we picket in Ghana, it is entirely at the discretion of U.S. authorities to take a decision, not being affected by how many pickets we have in Ghana.
Definitely. And in the U.S., the separation of powers, at least compared to Ghana, works better. Just that under the Trump administration, the ICE, as the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, have been given so much powers, which therefore seems to cross the line sometimes into the realm of judicial decision making and even making laws. So that is where the problem is. But in general, the U.S. Immigration Tribunal that is hearing the case now is generally totally independent of any of the other arms of government, and they will make their decision without recourse to any particular influence.
But the picketing is not a judgment anyway. But will it have any sort of impact on the international stature of the former finance minister?
Well, going on a demonstration is a form of advocacy, and it's a way of expressing the feeling of a particular people against a particular action that has taken place or is about to take place. So it's a legitimate expression of a particular position or posture that is taken by a particular group of people. This group of picketers are picketing against the fact that the U.S. has slowed the process to bring Ken Ofori-Atta to Ghana. And so in so doing, they are expressing the view that Ken Ofori-Atta should be brought to Ghana for trial. And that is an expression which, when the message goes out, people are going to reflect on that and to see if there's any merit in what they are doing. So at the end of the day, it's more likely to influence public opinion, but not what the government of the United States or even the government of Ghana, that would be the position of each of these governments.
Prof, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Professor Kojo Brace is Professor of International Law at the University of Ghana. Let me bring in the convener of Arise Ghana, Bernard Mona. I'm grateful to you, Mr. Mona, for joining. Now, what is next for Arise Ghana?
Well, thank you so much. We will continue tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Still insisting that Ken continue to stay in the United States will embolden persons who currently occupy similar positions to want to also do what Ken Ofori-Atta is alleged to have done. And I said this morning that Ken Ofori-Atta's record is a very nasty record. And that should he not come to face justice, it will only go to strengthen those who hold public office today, that they can also do harm to our nation, to the betterment of their individual and family businesses.
Okay. But
So
once,
that we will suffer.
once we are told that your picketing will not have any impact on what the U.S. authorities will decide to do, and once we also know that it takes legal processes to then for Ken Ofori-Atta to be deported to Ghana or extradited to Ghana, why continue picket when you know it will have no value to the process, and not urge the Ghanaian authorities to use legal processes to get him back to Ghana?
I am surprised that anyone will get to that conclusion. In the United States of America, various protests are held against government so that the government will be informed that certain happenings are not acceptable to the citizenry. And so what we are doing is to let the United States of America know, and I am very certain that before daybreak in the United States of America, word had reached them that there were some citizens in Ghana who were occupying the premises of their embassy. And what was it about? It was about the former finance minister who, in their view, had absconded with the loot, the stolen things that he had done, the record of theft, and that they want him to come and face justice. If that cannot influence or that cannot inform judgment, and then I doubt. If a U.S. person also decides to go and loot the American state and run to Ghana, then it means that our authorities will also be emboldened not to release the person because the person would have had investment in Ghana.
So is your expectation that what you did at the embassy today will have any impact on the hearing at 6 p.m. tonight?
Oh, I think that the hearing has nothing to do with our petition. The hearing has to do with Ken Ofori-Atta's request to have a longer term stay in the United States of America. And so that has nothing to do with the extradition, that the people of them to come and account for his stewardship. And so that is why we want to remind you that if you are detaining Ken because he has overstayed his visa, also be informed that he has now charges waiting for him in his home country. So in whatever you do, you must be minded that this is the person that is sought for to come and answer questions of his office.
I'm grateful to you, Mr. Bernard Mona. He is convener of Arise Ghana. This has been Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, Holding Exercise Spray and Coil, and also by Shield Pension Trust. Into the future with you. Up next is Newsnight, right after these.